Hey, it's Leonie Carpenter for Sports Hub Video. Please do follow us on socials at Sports Hub Video and do give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Leonie Carpenter. Now, I made some predictions last week for some of the games in the FA Cup third round. I like to think I didn't do too badly. I did go for glory though, and I did say that Marine were going to beat Spurs. It got to 3-0 and I'm not going to lie, I did lose a little bit of optimism. Then it was 4-0, then 5-0. I did think, can Marine score 6 goals in 30 minutes? And they didn't. But it's fine, you know, it just wasn't meant to be. A result that I am particularly smug about though is Crawley's win against Leeds. Now, I did predict that they would win 3-2. However, they did score 3 goals in their 3-0 victory. So I completely smashed their goal tally. And I am absolutely taking that as a little victory for myself. I hope you all looked out for my player of the week, which was Crawley's Danny Bullman, but I really hope you didn't look too hard because he didn't actually play at all. I like to think that maybe Crawley knew that they'd got the 3-0 in the bag and he was simply being rested. That is the narrative that I'm going to go with. We will discuss my next player of the week at the end of this video. So we're going to go through some predictions for the games coming up this weekend, and I want to know if you agree or you disagree with what I say. So we're going to kick off with Wolves against West Brom. Now, it's been almost 9 years since this derby, and the Baggies absolutely demolished Wolves in their own backyard, beating them 5-1. Now, this season so far, both teams have not won in their last 5 games and both have had inconsistencies. So off the back of that, I do think it could be a tight game. However, I look at Wolves and I see a lot of attacking threat, and they could also see the return of Adama Traore this game, who I think is an absolutely fantastic player, great to watch. Because of the attacking threat, I'm going to go Wolves 3, West Brom 1. Right, next up we have Leeds against Brighton. Now, of course, Leeds did get knocked out of the FA Cup by Crawley, who scored 3 goals as I predicted. I'm going to drop that there now. I think Bielsa is going to want a real strong reaction from Leeds. He is going to want to see them fighting back and he's going to want the 3 points. Now, Brighton haven't actually won a game since November the 21st when they beat Aston Villa in the Premier League. However, I do think that Brighton have been putting in some decent performances, even though they haven't always got the result. For instance, the first half against Man City, I thought they played pretty well. So I do think that Bielsa is going to get the reaction he wants from Leeds. I think he's going to get goals as well. So I am going to go Leeds 3, Brighton 0. Next up, we have West Ham, who are at home to Burnley. Now, I thought Burnley played pretty well against Manchester United the other day, and I thought, you know, they kept the 0-0 for the majority of the game. So I think Burnley are always one of those teams that can surprise you as well, although they didn't quite get the result that they wanted that night. I also personally would like Pope to get a clean sheet because he is in my fantasy team. But as we know, West Ham are no strangers to a late goal. However, I think it's going to be too little too late. I think it's going to be West Ham 1, Burnley 2. Right, we have got a tasty West London derby next. It is, of course, Fulham who are hosting Chelsea. Now, Chelsea really do have a point to prove now. They have had some really inconsistent results in the league. And, you know, we did see Werner and Havertz on the score sheet in the FA Cup game. And a lot of Chelsea fans are wanting to see them score more consistently. Of course, you know, we've spent money on them. So, you know, this could be the game. This could be the derby, the game where things do start to step up. If we look at Fulham, they have been so consistent with draws recently. Of course, they did draw with Liverpool 1-1 and, of course, to Spurs the other night as well. I do think Chelsea are going to make a statement in this game, though, and I am going to say Chelsea 4, Fulham 0. I am also a Chelsea fan. Next up, we go to the King Power Stadium, where Leicester are hosting Southampton. Now, both of these teams are doing pretty well. As we know, it's quite an open season this year, and both of these teams are showing real ambition to be in Europe next season. So I think off the back of that, it's going to be a tight game. Obviously, Southampton did beat Liverpool 1-0, which is always a good thing, you know, beat the champions. However, they have also been inconsistent with results as well. Leicester are really starting to find form now. I think it will be tight. I always have in the back of my mind that 9-0 as well. What a cracking game that was. I do think Leicester are going to have the edge over Southampton though, and I think it will be Leicester 2, Southampton 1. Next up, we have two teams who had a real cracking start to the season. It is, of course, Villa against Everton. Now, there has been a little speculation over whether this game will go ahead. Apparently, Villa would like it postponed. But if it does go ahead, I think it's going to be a real tight one. Now, like I say, it has been quite an open season so far. So this one will be very interesting. Obviously, Everton will be without Calvert-Lewin. He is out with a hamstring injury. But they did beat Wolves 2-1 the other night. Grealish, for me, is a fantastic player, and he's always going to pose that attacking threat, and his drive, his determination. Villa 3, Everton 2. There's going to be goals. Right, let's go to Sheffield United against Spurs. Now, of course, Sheffield are bottom of the league. Things aren't looking too good for them. Spurs, on the other hand, you know, it's been a little bit up and down. They, of course, drew with Fulham in the week, 1-1. So I think Kane and Son are going to do something this game. Obviously, the, you know, prolific duo up front, and I think they are going to get some goals. Sheffield do need the points, but so do Spurs, because they're sixth, and if they want to climb up that table, they're going to have to win. Mourinho will want a reaction as well. I'm going to go Spurs 3, Sheffield 1. They're going to get one goal. The next game I am really excited for. It is a top of the table clash between Manchester United and Liverpool at Old Trafford. Now, United are currently sitting top of the league, and they have found some great form to the point where even Pogba is getting on the score sheet again. Now, Liverpool, we can't ignore, they have had their injury woes, and they are not as strong at the back as they'd want to be. However, their attacking players are still there. They've still got some of their key players. So there's always that threat. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be so tight that it's going to be a draw. I'm going to go United 2, Liverpool 2. Next up, we have third place Manchester City, who are playing Crystal Palace. Now, Man City have won their last 7 games in all competitions, scoring 16 goals and only conceding 2. They've also made it to the Carabao Cup final as well. Now, things are looking pretty good for them, and a particular player who I've been enjoying watching at the moment is Phil Foden, and I'm really glad to see him starting in the first team as well. Now, Palace have had a lot of inconsistency so far this season, and, you know, going away to Man City is always going to be tough. I don't think it's going to be 7-0. I do think Man City are going to bag quite a few. I'm going to go Man City 4, Palace 0. Next, we see another tie between Arsenal and Newcastle. Of course, those two teams met each other in the FA Cup. Now, Arsenal's league form is doing, you know, it's pretty good at the moment. Obviously, they drew with Palace, but since that Boxing Day game against Chelsea, they have picked up points and they have found some good form. I'm going to go Arsenal 2, Newcastle 1, even though I thought Newcastle played quite well the other night. Right, let's go to Halifax against Stockport in the FA Trophy second round. Both teams are in quite similar form, and there is just 1 point between them in the National League. So I think it will be a really tight one. Obviously, both teams will want to progress as well. I do think Halifax will have the edge on this one, though. And I'm going to go Halifax 2, Stockport 1. Right, we're going to head to League 2 now with Bristol Rovers against Charlton Athletic. Now, this could be another tough fixture for Bristol because Charlton are obviously going to want to bounce back after their previous season. Now, I think Charlton are going to have the edge. I mean, they're 7th in the league at the moment. Bristol are 18th. So I think Charlton are going to win. I think there's going to be a few goals. I am going to say Bristol 1, Charlton 3. Please do check out our interview as well with former Charlton player Johnny Jackson. He chats about his experiences with Sven-Goran Eriksson and Sol Campbell. Honestly, it's definitely worth a watch. Do catch it on Sports Hub Video. Right, now we're going to head to League 2 and look at Bradford City against Crawley, who scored the 3 goals against Leeds, which I predicted. Now, you know, as we know, confidence is going to be high after that victory. Of course, Leeds Premier League team, you've knocked them out the FA Cup. So yeah, confidence will be high. And there are 12 places separating these two teams in the league. Crawley have lost their last 2 league games. And I think, you know, that was against Bradford as well. So there's that in the back of your mind. But I do think their win against Leeds is going to prevail. So I'm going to say Bradford 1, Crawley. Can they score 3 again? Yes, of course they can. Crawley 3. Right, now we go to an FA Trophy game between Stockport County and Notts County. So in the National League, there are just 3 places separating the 2 teams, with Stockport just ahead in 4th spot. Now, Notts County's form has been slightly better as of late, but both teams are obviously going to want to progress in this competition. So there's a lot to play for in this game, but I think the away side are just going to have the edge. I am going to go Stockport County 1, Notts County 2. Right, next we're going over to France. We're going to head to Ligue 1, where Angers are hosting PSG. Now, PSG are looking to overtake Lyon in the league so they can become, you know, in the top place first. So Neymar is obviously out at the moment. Mbappe, though, has been impressing. So he is always going to be that threat. Now, Angers did have a defeat against Monaco, and that was 3-0. So they're just coming off the back of that. I think PSG's determination to get to the top spot is going to be pretty high. And, you know, they are a pretty quality team anyway. So I'm going to go Angers 1, PSG 3. Right, this week, my player to watch, who will be playing, I am sure he will, it is West Brom's Grady Dianaga. Him. Do you know what? He is the one where, so Mark Noble sent out a tweet. So he was West Ham's player. He went out on loan to West Brom and then West Brom bought him. And Mark Noble was absolutely gutted and said, you know, he's a great kid with a great future. And he has been playing well for the Baggies. He has been, you know, a consistent attacking threat. And I think if Allardyce does keep them up this season, he will have played a part in that. So check him out at the weekend against Wolves. Hopefully, you know, he'll have a big part to play in the game. Assist, goal, who knows? Thank you. Right, so I want to know, do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you agree with my predictions? Do you think that I'm right? Do you think that I've got things completely wrong? What do you think? And again, please do follow us on socials at Sports Hub Video and at Leonie Carpenter. Thank you. It will be great to hear from you.